Hey, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Powerful on Purpose, Special Edition Wake Up Revolution. And I'm talking to another one of the amazing authors. I'm super excited to have this conversation with Shawn because, I love me some AI, and I really feel passionate about more people using AI and challenging it and really pushing the limits of AI. So, Shawn Every is a certified AI consultant and capacity strategist who helps overextended women business owners get their time and energy back using AI. And that's really the beauty that we should be using AI for, right? So, through her company, Ask AI with Shawn, she works with coaches, consultants, and service providers who are done doing everything manually and ready for some real relief. Shawn uses AI as assistive technology in her own life and business, managing fibromyalgia, early onset Parkinson's, and a pituitary adenoma while building a thriving consulting practice. That lived experience is her most powerful differentiator. She has spoken at the AI Insight Summit, the Line AI Summit, the Holistic Marketing Summit, and serves as a resident AI expert in 2 online communities. Her tagline says it simply: AI is the tool and relief is the result. So super excited to jump into this with you, Shawn, because I love what you're doing. I really think there is a need for, and especially women, right? Talking about AI, using AI, and how do we use it to benefit ourselves?
Yes. So thank you so much, Leslie, for that introduction. I appreciate you. And I'm excited about being here and doing
Awesome.
this. And that is a passion of mine, getting more women to embrace AI and get past the fear of it and just their view of not wanting to take on something else or learn something else. So yeah, that's my passion right there.
Right? So tell us a little bit about that journey of getting into AI, realizing how should people use it, right? Because I think there's a lot of different voices out there how we should or shouldn't. Somebody told his AI, and he has a big community. He's an online affiliate marketer, and he told his audience that you should use this at the end of every prompt. Do this task as if your life depended on it. I was like, okay, dude, it's a machine. It doesn't really respond to that, right? So I think we're bombarded with all this weird information. So that's part of the other reason I love why you're doing what you're doing. But what got you into it and what made you go, wait a minute, I need to help people do this?
Yeah, yeah. So I've spent the last 20 years in the entrepreneurial space, just trying to figure out how to get a business going. And what prompted that was I was in corporate America and became ill to the point that I was became disabled and could no longer really function in day to day, let alone hold down a 40-hour a week job. So I had to come home and take care of my health while still taking care of my family as well. When I was able to get up and realize that, okay, you have to do something, as far as having a one income household, that just that's not the way we make it. Like it's just surviving, right? And so I was like, well, what can I do? So I tried everything, Leslie. Like you name it, I have done it. Network marketing, MLMs, direct sales, travel agent, aromatherapy, and the list just goes on, right? That I've done. And it wasn't until I turned 50 and I guess I started learning more about myself, right? Like wanting to, I guess, figure out what that next chapter is going to look like. What is it going to be? And I just didn't feel like what I was doing was the spark that I was looking for to light me up. So the last thing that I was doing was the aromatherapy and the health coaching. But when ChatGPT came along in what that was, the end of 2022. I was like, okay, let me figure out what this is because it's intriguing to me. Always been intrigued by technology, right? Computers, just all the things. And I just went all in with it. And as I was learning, teaching myself about it and saw all the things that it could do, I was sharing it with my family and friends and never once thought that, well, let's see how you can use this as a business. And it was my friends that said, Shawn, this is it. You've been looking for it. This is your business. And thus, that's how I started with AI coaching. Like I created that name for myself being an AI coach. And I was just basically teaching people what I knew about it. And then as time passed, then that's when I got the certification to become an AI consultant. But yeah, that's where it came from.
I love that because it's always those things we sort of least expect, right? But that fit our superpowers, if you will, and come
Yes.
together at some point. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, was there, and it sounds like you've had a couple different moments, right? But where you were on a trajectory and then you're like, wait a minute, can't keep doing this. It's not working. Or was there a particular moment that stands out for you that you thought, "Hey, I gotta do something different here?" And I know there's at least one of those, right, with your corporate job, but there might have been others along that journey.
Yeah, so I'm going to say that about to get vulnerable here, but it was when I so to back up, let's go back to having to leave my corporate job and having to deal with the illnesses, I should say, and still trying to be all things for everybody, right? And it got to a point, Leslie, that I broke. Like I literally had a breakdown and had to spend time in the hospital. And it's not something that I'm embarrassed about. I talk about it because it may help other people as well. So, and especially in my community with Black women, we're supposed to be the strong one, We're supposed to be able to push and do all the things because we're the strong Black woman, right? But that doesn't always work. And I'm proof of that. Like, because I had to come to the realization that it's okay to take care of self, to put me first, and whatever that meant as far as getting me to that point, what that self-care looked like, then I was going to do it. And you might ask, well, what does AI have to do with that? Those moments were something that I didn't readily talk about, right? I didn't readily share with other people. But this is what's interesting. When I got ChatGPT and I felt like, okay, this is a no judgment zone. I'm not going to have to worry about any pushback or anything like that. Saw how I was able to just speak, to just talk into it and like use it as my thought partner. And it literally helped me to get clarity on who I was and what I wanted. Like what that I talk about that next chapter, like what could that next chapter look like? And that is something that I don't talk about a lot or enough, rather, just because of people's view, thinking about what people going to say. Really? It's a machine. But the way that we use it can make all the difference in the world. You may choose to use it, and not speaking of you in particular, but the next person may choose to use it as a robot, whereas I chose to use it as an enhancement to what was already in me, right?
Yeah.
Because it's not creating these things for me, but it was already there in me. It just helped to pull it out.
I love that, and it so resonates with my own experience with AI, right? As using it as that thought partner, and really, at the end of the day, it's a mirror for us, can be. And as
Pretty
you
much.
said, right, I love that because I thought the same thing. Like, this is no judgment. No, it has picked up a little bit of an attitude lately, but that's an issue we're having to work through. But yeah, that idea of how do we use it for ourselves to be more of who we are. So, that I really resonate with that. And I'm sure many of our listeners and readers will as well. So, how do you feel like your lived experience has shaped the way you lead today?
Like I said, now being 55 years old, okay? And being in this space, in the tech space, it does with people who don't always look like me, right? But yet I still get on camera, even when I can experience what I just experienced before, searching for those words, having those moments because the limitations that I have due to the illnesses, that's real. But yet I show up anyway. And I lead with is capacity first. Like you read in my bio that I'm a capacity strategist. And that's huge for me because I never lived the hustle culture. Okay. Just because I couldn't. Like I always a friend of mine once said this and I started coining this phrase. Pushing is for bulldozers. So I'm not going to push myself to do something that my capacity, to stretch my capacity to what I can't handle. What I did was I had to find what worked for me. And so, or if I didn't find that, then the work would stop. I would stop entirely. If I tried to go and follow the way other people just push through, oh, the hustle culture, what's your side hustle? I never believed in that. So I think all of that has helped me to be a more polished leader, not perfect, but real, more grounded, and showing other women that you don't have to have it all together to be worth listening to.
Yeah, that's super powerful. And I think I also hear in there giving yourself grace, and that helps you give others grace.
Yes, I had to learn that.
Yeah, I'm sure. I still fight a bulldozer thing at times. I'm like, everybody else, I can, yeah, no, not meant for me. And I also really appreciate you talking about capacity because I think so often that's the underlying thing. We talk about nervous system, we talk about all this other stuff that is actually the next step. And really, we need to figure out what our capacity is and how we work with that or how we can expand it if we choose to, right? So I appreciate that sort of nuance in some of the nervous system reset talk.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what's a truth about women and power that you believe more of us need to hear?
So I thought about that a little bit. Okay. And it goes back to what I said about women, and especially Black women who have been conditioned to be the engine of everything, the strong one, the one who carries it. And we call that power,
Mm, right.
but that's not power. It's obligation, but just a pretty label on it or a pretty name. Capacity is not a reward that we should be working towards. Um, because we've worked so hard, now we earn capacity. But it should be our foundation, and we've been taught to earn rest, but we really should be protecting it. So to the women out there, you don't have to keep proving that you can carry all of it, right? Because you never were supposed to carry it all alone. And you can, when you ask for help, that's not a sign of weakness. And so using these tools, these AI tools to give you your capacity back, that's your power. And it's not laziness. Oh, I hate when people say that. Oh my goodness. Using AI, you're being lazy. That's actually a strategy, a smart strategy, right? And it's permission that I had to give to myself and that others should feel like that they can give to themselves as well.
Yeah. What a beautiful reframe that it really is a strategy. Cause I'm with you. Like if anybody's really used AI, you understand it is not always sometimes it takes a little bit of time to get what you want out of it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
awesome. So tell us a little bit about what you're building now that's stretching you beyond your current comfort zone. Get a
Like
list? Mhm.
yes, man. I just try to keep myself busy, keep my mind occupied with things. And with AI, you know that it changes sometimes so many times within one day. So I have started vibe coding.
Oh, cool. We're gonna have to
Yeah, and
talk about that. Yeah.
yes, I've been coding actual software apps, not just for myself, but I just did one for a client and like I had to pinch myself like did I really do that? It's like I used to say to myself as I'm doing these things, well, this isn't something that you can do or make money from because you're not a real developer. You're using AI to do this. But I had to name that out loud. And it's something that I literally had a discussion with my AI assistant. And I said, how can I charge these people for this? You're helping me to do this. I'm not a real developer. And it came back and told me, stop. You're not a real developer and you just built this. Like, I only tell you, what to do. You're the one that's actually using your brain to figure out when something goes wrong. Okay, how do I go in and fix this? Like, you may not wear that title,
Right.
but you're doing the work. You're doing the work of a developer. So let's scratch that you're not a real developer. Yeah, so I've done several apps and one that I am working on currently is my capacity snapshot
Hmm.
for women. Yes, so that's one of my little things I have in the lab going on. And what I'm doing is I'm stepping more into public speaking, more visible platforms. So I'm working on like my particular keynote, which is entitled AI helped me find my voice. And in addition to that, now I see that there is a need for more female speakers out there. I have built an app around that as well for women who want to get into the speaking world. So like I said, I have a lot of things going on, but my ultimate ultimate goal is that I want to retire my husband early. He has been holding it down all these years by himself and he's the hardest working man I know. And I want to be able to grow my business enough to where to bring him home so that he can, well, have that time freedom, and ultimately for us both to be able to just travel together, which is something I love to do. So, yeah.
Yeah, very cool. I love that, and I love all the cool things that you're doing, and that thought too of, like, we're not tech people, right? So, like, is this legitimate that we can be doing this? And I think that's
Yeah.
part of what is the beauty of AI is it allows you to bring out these skills you really didn't know you had or the way you think, right? Because I think there's so many of us who have these ideas, but weren't coders. So how do we create that? And now AI has said, hey, you have the thinking. The coding is just like technical, really technical. Let me walk you through that. So I think such an important point for all of us to always keep exploring, right?
Yes. Yes.
So, if you could sit across from the woman you were before you've made some of these shifts, what would you tell her?
Ooh, I would tell her, you are not broken. You are becoming. Everything that you think that you're losing right now is actually making room for bigger and better things that's coming. Yeah, because I learned early on about using my voice wasn't safe.
Mm.
I it even started from early childhood, my voice was silenced before I even knew I had a voice. I had to deal with asthma as a child. Many trips to the emergency room, could not breathe. So you can't breathe, you can't talk, right? And I also grew up in a house where we were told what goes on in this house stays in this house, right? And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that, but at the same time, I see it for what it is now because it's still. And I was also bullied as a child. And elementary school, and the world felt dangerous to me, from early on. So just knowing that these things that I went through, going back and being able to tell her, you're safe, that it only shaped where the places that you were going to go, the things that you were going to do. And I just want to tell her, just like I've been saying now, that these years later, I'm from the future, right? And I'm talking to you and I'm telling you that you are still standing, that you are still breathing, and you're building something great to leave for those that's going to come behind you.
Yeah, powerful message. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Cool. I do know that people will want to reach out to you. So where is the best place to connect with you? And then you also have a free gift if that we'll put in the show notes. But if you want to tell people a little bit about
Yes.
that.
Yes. So, I would say the best places would be LinkedIn, because that's where a lot of professionals hang out at. And so I try to be on there as well as on Facebook. Like, that's where my people are. So that's where I hang out, right? The capacity snapshot
Yes,
is
exactly. I was
my
gonna say,
free gift. Yes, ma'am. And
try that.
yeah, yes. It's going to show women exactly where their capacity is leaking.
Cool.
Okay.
Cool. All right.
How AI can come in and assist with that.
Yeah. Yeah. Cool. You have been a fabulous guest. I love what you're doing. I love the way you're talking about AI. I think it's refreshing. I think we need more voices using it in that manner, right? So I really am passionate about other people getting in there, mucking around, challenging you, say, wait a minute, that's not how we think.
Right, right.
Yeah. Cool, cool. All right. And everybody, be sure and subscribe because you don't want to miss more powerful conversations with women who are living their lives with purpose and changing the world for good, as well as check out the Wake Up Revolution book because Shawn's story is there in there along with other amazing women.